is an issue.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Text to Chris if you can hear me.
Okay, there is sound. All right. Thank you,
Good.
J. Donley and Todd Heidenreich and everybody else. It takes a village. All right. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Sorry about that. We had to go through a couple of you know what? People don't care. We're here now. The good news is that Michael has more time to give to us, and so Michael, we should. I think you're going to take a look at the round two games, and
Yep.
so
All five of them.
yeah. Do you have just sort of some general comments to make? I know you've looked at all five games of the round two. Just some general observations before we dive into the games.
Yeah. A pretty solid group of players. They're playing really good games. I'd say the game, let's see, who is it? Um, one player. I don't really know how to pronounce their name, but Zhou-W Wu.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, very yeah, looking a very steady game. Really
Yes,
tough for that person's opponents.
that was a tough game. Good. All
Yeah.
right, so I can't wait to hear what you have to say about the game. So why don't you go and we don't
Okay.
have to. The names are up whenever you switch around to the different games. I guess
Yeah, but you
you'll
will have to
just
give me control for some of those windows.
when
You
you're
have to
ready to
remember.
switch, you just give me the number and we'll switch.
So we're looking at the game between Guan Yu Sang, 7 Dan, and Even Tang. Is that up on the screen?
It is.
It has 6 moves, right? So it's a pretty simple, normal open, you might say. So here, white pincers on the bottom side, black jumps out. And they're starting a fight here. This is a standard way for black to build a strong position, a strong shape towards the right side, and then black pincers. So this is all very reasonable. White's sort of looking at p5 there. We have the coordinates out.
Yep, we do.
Okay, so white's looking at p5 there. For the time being, there's a lot of issues with it. So first of all, there's the fact that black can cut in the corner here. And there's also the fact that this is going to be pretty painful too. So so white has to do a lot of stuff to make that work, and it's probably not worth it. So like white can do stuff like this and hope to eventually cut there. And so it depends on black answering everything. And it also is a really dangerous thing for white to do. So maybe white doesn't want to be planning to do that. And at any point, black can play this exchange, and it's a complete connection. So black has more options there, and it's probably not a good idea for white to try to do that. So they left it for the time being. Oh, sorry. And we're back in the main variation here. And so as soon as white had a kind of a fairly safe shape there on the bottom side, black moved to the top side. So black's strategy in this game is to try to build an attack on a large scale and control a large area, the upper left part of the board. Okay, so they started a fight here. And this shape here. So this is a very common shape, the white group there that's just moving out into the center. And that's because all of the moves that white has played are very natural one space jumps. It's very so there's okay, let's give black this exchange. It's probably better not to play it, but it's not a big deal. Okay, so we're going to look at this position. This is going to be the point for this game. So this shape is so common, and there is a tactic that is generally successful for black against this construction of the well, 3 one space jumps there. That white shape on the top side, so I'm going to circle it now. There's a standard sequence that the players should know, and it turns out in this game they didn't. So it's black to play, and the game move was here, but that was wrong. So that was bad shape. And where do you think black should have played?
Uh, honestly, Michael, I always have trouble with this because I know that there's a weakness in white shape. Um, I know the one you just showed is wrong.
Mhm.
I don't. I
Well, the thing is that the players who are getting strong nowadays, they haven't studied classical games, so they don't know this one. Like if you've studied classical games, it just comes automatically.
Okay,
Okay, so I'll show you the answer.
please.
So black should peep. Let's see, I'm using black should peep here.
I was just
So
looking
this
at it. I
is
was
the
trying
place
to
to
read
peep
that. Yeah.
because this peep is forcing. If black can get
Ah,
this stone, black's already happy because that connects all the black stones. Black hasn't really given white that one eye, which is not going to be enough anyway. So it's okay for the stone on the top to be wasted if black can get all the territory on the side. It's not just the territory, it's the fact that black's groups are all connected, which is really important. So if white plays here, now black plays here. Now black's accomplished something there. So already, even if white eventually manages to curl around, let's say something like this, and even if white eventually manages to save that stone, it's taken something like 3 moves, and nothing good is happening for white. It's like just a connected shape. So that's the way black wants to do it. And because of that, white's probably going to connect on this side. And so something like this, maybe here. Let's give white this one. And black can already push through and cut. If black pushes through and cuts, white's going to squeeze, maybe. The latter looks like it's good for black. So black could play here. So it's better for black to play here and then push through and cut. And then this would be devastating. So white would maybe play here, and black would get really great shape on the outside. So this would be a kind of a winning variation for black. So you just remember that you're supposed to peep on the 5th line here. Oh, that's the 6th line, I mean. And if white plays here, one of the advantages is that in a shape like this, black has this connection underneath. So that's the main reason why you don't want to play this move, which looks really stupid. But there's a practical reason not to play it also, because black can connect underneath like this. And sometimes black can connect underneath like this, and it's a life-saving thing sometimes. So it's important. So this was bad. I mean, let's get back to the game, yeah. And then this was even worse, because black's cutting, black was cutting the useless white stone. So he's taking the sacrifice stone, which it's really small. So he's building from his strong group, and he's just taking this small slice. So it's nothing like the other variation where black was cutting it off clean, like this way. It's a much cleaner cut. And also, since black stones are all connected, black doesn't necessarily have to follow up. Like black could follow up if he really wants to. He could follow up like this, and it would still be getting a much better shape.
So nice. That's so nice.
Black doesn't have to follow up. Oh, okay, yeah. So this would have been okay. And this could have been a losing move. So like in a professional level, in a high level game, this would be a losing strategy already. Because he's left, the black group on the right is left alone. So it's already really weak. And sort of struggling to connect up. Okay, so black managed to link up here. So they sort of cooperated on that, but it's a reasonable variation. And white plays this move. It looks really neat. This is kind of a tesuji. White's threatening to cut on the 3rd line here. And it turns out this was really bad. So this was where white lost the advantage that white had at this point. Because the problem with this is that black has a potential eye here, and black has a potential eye here. So those two add up to being 1 eye, and it looks like black maybe captures this stone or something. So black's group is pretty much alive at this point. The fact that this group is alive is pretty important. So we're going to compare it with the correct way of play, which is looking a bit vulgar. White should play here and here.
Well, that's
black has to connect anyway.
It's a nice sequence.
First of all, we're counting 3 extra points of white territory here,
right,
which were not there in this variation. In this variation, black gets the Hanesugi here, right? So those 3 points that I'm talking about here, they're gone. So white lost 3 points and gave black about 2 points on this side in the game. So these are the 2 points I'm talking about, this one and this one. So white lost 5 points in territory. That's pretty significant. And also the fact that black's alive here. If we count one eye in one of these 2 mark points, and the other eye is not really defined yet, but black's going to be able to make an eye. Usually capturing, it's tough for white to save this stone, and there's area here. So there's stuff here where black can eventually get an eye somehow. So black's pretty close to being alive.
It's a really, really big dragon, right?
This one is pretty dead. So like even if we have black playing, so let's say white's going to play away. So even if black gets a forcing move here, now making an eye here, it's not so easy because it involves having a forcing move at S9. So like in this case, it would still not be an eye. So there's although black might be able to get an eye, it's not as safe as it was before. And most importantly, there's a 5-point difference. It's territory, it's cash in the bank. A 5-point difference is really big. So that was the what could have been black's losing move. So black was really struggling here, and it was all because of this peep here. So that's probably the most important thing I have to say about this game. But there's one more point, because not only was white supposed to play like this, also the issue of how to enter the left side was also very important, because diving into the 3-3 point here, it looks a bit cramped because of all those black stones on the right. So that's why I'm going to say white should play here and something like this. So this would be a good way of reducing the corner territory partially while getting a position on the left side. And this would have been, white would have had a slight advantage. It would have been a close game at least. So in the game, not only did white lose 5 points here, but white also played this one, which in this case is not good because there's no way white's going to live in the corner. So when white doesn't have an opportunity to dive into the 3-3 point, it's a bad idea to stay away from the corner like this. So the Kakari that white played here would usually be aiming at the 3-3 point, but because white's sort of weak all over the place, white's not going to have time to do that. So that's why white should have been closer to the corner. And so, yeah, so we're seeing black getting the corner, and I didn't really look very closely at the rest of the game. I think it's just a pretty easy win for black after this.
Great, okay, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Game. And so I'm going to close this window.
Right.
And it's probably not, you're going to probably still have it, but I'm going to move on to, let's go on to the same address, only it's going to be 1521520.
Let me just get the actual review. I'm sorry, 152.
1521.
Yep.
And 520. So I think it's just the last digit or so.
Got it.
So this is Daniel.
And then I think I need to.
You need to capture the window.
Or the window's captured. I just need to give you control. So, and you guys are going to lose our video for 1 second while I do this. Who are the players? This is Zhou and Zhu. Okay, hold on 1 sec. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but this is the way we're doing it. So. Zhou and Zhu, that's you, and you have control, and we're back to there. All right. Not too bad. All right. Again, thank you for bearing with us.
They've just played the Tsukeiki Joseki on the left. Do you see the board?
I do.
Oh, good. So black has just played a 1-space Kakari. Okay, so this is one of the more complicated Josekis that they play nowadays. And it's really complicated. So up to this point, they're still on script. And they sort of lose me after this. Okay. So this is already an unusual move. So white had a choice of playing here. I'm not going to say very much about this because, to be frank, there's variations of this Joseki that I'm not feeling so safe about. So there's all sorts of stuff happening with it, even recently. But black took a key point there. So this is a good move in a way because it looks at the attachment here where black can make an extra eye, and also is preparing to play here to get some eyes in the corner. So it's not the commonly played Joseki move, but it's a reasonably good move. And so white plays here also. And here white is going to jump out to the left or play, again, this is a kind of a key point for white to play later on. Okay. So they're playing good shape moves. It looks like maybe they know what they're doing, okay, up to this point. And so black pushes through and cuts. And this is a key point, a shape move. So if black was to play here, this would lose all the aji. So black wants to play here, and if white connects, white has lousy shape. And it's because this is sort of, black really wants to extend in this direction when black extends, because that creates damezumari for white when white tries to kill the black group on the right. Because when white wants to kill the black group, white's going to fill this dame, and
the crane's nest happens.
So when black extends from this stone, black wants to extend in this direction. And that's why extending here would be bad shape. So they really look like they seem to know what they're doing here. So this is good shape. And black jumped here. And white jumped. So this, it's a move that you can play without reading. I get the feeling that white was uneasy and did not calculate. So white needs to calculate here because the life of the corner is dependent on white adding a stone. So white has to add a stone here. And this is going to be relevant to black's life or death also. So as I see it, there's no way for black to capture it. So like if black has one forcing move that I've used there at 09. This stone here, this was a forcing move. Black didn't have any more forcing moves than that. So if black does that, even if black does that, there's no way that black is going to capture. So for instance, this would be a way that white could capture the cutting stones. White has 3 liberties. So if we look at it like this, white still has 3 liberties. So it's an easy win for white. So white could have saved the corner. If white was a bit uneasy, he could have peeped here. So I would advise the peep. And it's really scary for black to play here, right? Because there's a hole there. So in this case, white would have a forcing move here and black would have to come back and defend anyway. So black's probably going to connect here. And then white could play in the center. So playing in the center, it's worth a move. It's worth a move because next white can play the Tari here and kill black's group on the right. White's corner, white can get one of these 2 points. So white's alive in the corner. And this would have been okay. So this is where white sort of lost the game. Because the corner is dead now.
So sad. So big.
Yeah, so it's pretty much bad for white throughout the game after that. Let's see. There was a point where it got pretty close, but I'd say that this is the most important part of the game. And like it's a really tough game. So let's just look at this is a way that white can sometimes play against that Shimari. It's not all that impressive because white's losing the semi-eye there, and living on the lower side, it's not a big deal anyway. So all of this is only working to a degree. It's not as if white could save those stones. And so on the whole, it's probably good for black. They're playing another modern Joseki in the top right. So they're playing a lot of modern moves, and they seem to know how to play them. Black's getting into a bit of trouble here. Yeah, but on the whole, it looks like black does have a slight lead. So they played on. I didn't really research the rest of the game. Throughout that, it seemed that black seemed to have an advantage throughout. So just going back to that one point, living in the lower right corner here, it was really important. So up to this point, they were playing something I've never seen before, but dying in the corner was obviously a mistake. So this is where white got into trouble. Great. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I would advise most of the viewers to avoid playing this Joseki. Yeah, actually, I should talk about that. So like if you don't want to play the Joseki, this can happen when black plays a low Kakari also, and it's the same thing here. This is the more common way to play it. So
Yeah.
like if you're white and you want to play a pincer anyway, you can play a distant pincer and then crawl. And then the pincer is far enough away that it's okay to allow black to do it.
Much
So like if you
safer.
don't want to play the super complicated Joseki, you can play this way and you're going to be okay. Or if you don't want to pincer, you don't have to pincer. Like AIs like to play moves like this, and that's okay also.
You're not going to
So
die. You're not going to die anyway.
there's options that you have. So like this kind of distant pincer or defending the corner are the options where you don't get into this really complicated Joseki that the game played. Or if your opponent has played the high Kakari, of course the default move that AIs always like is this one, and it works well when white doesn't have much room on the bottom side. So white doesn't want to expand there, but wants this compact, safe shape in the corner, which is it's good for territory. So like this 15-point territory that white's getting here, roughly, it's cast. And so when black has the position here in the lower left, white wants to get something locally like this because white's not going to expand towards the left. Okay, so that's all I have to say about that game. Okay, so let's see what I have next. Okay, I'm going to move to the room number 5, same number, only it ends 521.
Oh, just change one digit. Okay, and this is Zhang.
Henry Zhang and Eric Yoder.
Ah, okay. Give me 1 second. Yeah, Yoder.
And you need to give me control.
You got it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I have an empty board here. How's my sound? Am I soft or is my okay?
Let me check. I am not hearing any complaints, which is usually a good sign. So,
okay, great. Tell me when it's okay to start.
You're good. You're good to go.
Okay, black plays double star points. And he's avoiding the complicated Josekis. So it's an issue with black too. When he knows that if he plays this one, maybe he's going to be stepping into a variation where his opponent has researched it. So leaving the Kakari stone is an option. Okay, so this Nadari is supposed to be good for white if the ladder favors white. But when the ladder favors black, black has the option of playing here. And I just know this because I know that when the lower left corner is a star point, and then black's gonna win the ladder. So the ladder I'm talking about is this one. And it's gonna hit the star point. So like one way when you're reading, like you get confused if you go all across the board. Sometimes you can get to the Tengen point, and you can imagine that the star point, you can sort of transport it to here. So you know that the star point, it's the same diagonal. So if this stone is going to break the ladder, the star point is going to break the ladder. It's not always true of the 3-3 point, but it's always true of the star point. So that's something you can know. So the ladder favors black. It means that white would have to play. Okay, I'm going to use the right tool. So the ladder favors black. Means that white has to play here. Probably slightly better for black when compared to the game. So like something like this would be a very similar variation, only that stone at 017 in the game, it's like this. So black has better shape in this variation. Can you see that? So even if black plays something, black has a lot better shape on the top side.
Much better.
And probably it's going to sacrifice those 2 stones on the right. Although like you can try to move out with them. It would be similar if black tries to save those 2 stones. It would be a similar variation to the game. Only black has better shape on the top side. So let's go to the game. Black plays here. Okay, yeah. Okay, so black pushes through and cuts here. So this is not the normal way to do it, but black is trying to make a deal to save black stones on the right. So the variations you usually see with this is with black doing something like this and like this. Sometimes you see this kind of stuff. Or black can play a double honey here sometimes, or leave it for the time being. But black is trying to, in the game, black had an idea. He had a plan. Okay, so black has sacrificed the corner, but is going to get a position on the right side. So it's sort of logical. White did get great shape in the center because that was a double threat. But it's not a game-ending situation here. So they continue the opening. Okay, so white invades the top. This is where it starts to get exciting. Okay, yeah, so this is all good play by white. And white is, so if white, if black had played here, white would play here. It's really difficult for black to attack this group because, basically because this move doesn't work. So white has that eye space there and it's going to be okay. So black played here. It's not especially good. Black's trying to be annoying because black probably feels he's slightly behind. White's great shape in this part of the board probably gives white a slight advantage. So it's not something to get upset about at this point. I think the game is still, I would call it sort of undecided. But I bet if you asked a computer, it would be good for white. Okay, so this is where white went a bit crazy. So let's see. White played here, and black took the ko. So the ko is an issue because white doesn't want to back down. White can live, so whatever white does, white can live, but that would allow black to get another forcing move here. So that's what black is trying to do. So there's the kind of the wish to continue playing this ko. White has to realize that if white loses the ko, it's not that black is going to connect here. That would still give white options to live, but black can play something like this, and it's going to be locally, it's going to be a dead shape. Or if white takes the ko now, black can play an Atari here, another dead shape. So black can actually kill it with the next move. So this is a threat to kill it. But we've sort of learned from AIs that a corner is not a big deal. So it's more damaging to play a lot of local moves and give black control of the rest of the board than it is to live in that corner. So the game move white played here. And this is so crazy. This is a blatant overplay. So this is where white almost threw the game. And white should just take care of the center. So maybe something like this.
Just move out, right?
Yeah. So black has stuff he can do, but if black kills the corner, for instance, now white can play here. So black can kill the corner, but black's going to get into trouble on the, let's put it here. Yeah. So black's going to be squeezed on the other side. So the result here is that black kills the corner, but is going to have trouble making eyes on the top side and hasn't really gained that much territory because white has already taken away this chunk of territory that could have been black's. So dying in the corner is not a big deal. And the thing about these stones here is that later on, they can be annoying. So like if white gets stones on this side and stuff like this, I'm just playing random moves for black. But eventually it turns into a race to capture, and you're going to be playing something like 4 or 5 more stones inside that. Or black's going to have to do something earlier to avoid that. So there's pressure that white can put on that black group. It's not as big as you might think. So like when it gets small like this, it's less than 15 points. So it's not worth it. It's more important for white to reinforce the one weak group, which is this group in the center. This is the group that white started up just now. So at this point, white started playing in the center. He has to keep taking care of this group until it's solid. So this was an opportunity to do that. And if black kills the corner, white's covering here. And so white can recycle that group in the upper left by getting some profit on the top side. So this would have been a winning variation for white. And okay, but white won the game, right? So how did that happen? So white really messed up here. And so up to this point. Okay, so this is where black had an opportunity. white's group in the center is left alone with maybe one eye, maybe not. And what happened in the game was black played here and played here. Black has just solved all of white's problems. So this was black's losing strategy. First of all, black's allowed white to live in the top left. And he's played a soft move. This move was not really a very strong move against white's center group. And it's also playing from the black group that is strong. So this black group is already alive with this territory here. The strong group is not the group you want to reinforce. You want to reinforce the relatively weak groups. Or in this case, it's probably more important that the left side here is where ideally black would want to get an area. So black wants to be playing from this side instead of from this side, which is pretty much in the final stages of the end game, right? You seeing the circles I'm writing on the board?
Yeah, no, I just Henry won this game. The black won this game.
Black won the game?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That's Todd, you can correct me, but I'm looking at the matches for round.
I think white won this game.
I could be reading this wrong.
Oh, Henry Zhang is black. Sorry.
Yeah, no, Henry won round 2. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, really? Well, the file I downloaded said white wins by resignation.
We will. Todd will check that. It's quite possible I am misreading something. Anyway, carry on.
Okay, so here, let's get rid of all that marks. Okay, so this allowed white to live in the top left, and then white got away with the center group. So this is a winning variation for white. What's more, black's group on the top, it's not alive yet, because if white jumps here, that's only one eye. So the capture here of the 2 stones was really small. And let's get rid of that too. So black should push here. And this would be continuing from the capture here, which was a really, black invested a move here in the corner. Pushing at G17 would continue that attack against white's corner. So black can allow white to capture this stone, because that stone, it's not even alive yet. I mean, the group on the top is, white needs one more stone here to be safe there. And then black would be able to attack in the center. So not only is the corner dead, but black can do stuff like, black really wants to sort of curl around from the center and fold white in there so that black can start building like this. So this is the area black wants to play. So even if black allows white to live, the idea would be to get to this point and get a moyo there on the left. Although capturing the corner is starting to be a very big move also. So this would be a winning variation for black. In the game, let's see, where did black play? Black played here. So he's letting white off the hook in the center and on the top right. I mean the top left. Okay, let's just go fast forward and see what I'm seeing here. So they're playing this fight, and the final move was white connecting here, and I think it's a win for white.
Yeah, I think you must be right. Yeah, you're right.
White's group in the center.
I'm just misreading.
Black is dead in the center.
Right.
Yeah. So that was the key point in the game. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. That was the key point in the game. Here. So white, both players had opportunities. It was important for white to take care of this group in the center, because white's only just now, white has invested a lot of moves in it. So white had to add stones to it to make it safe. So something like this. And that would be threatening H18, which is the next threat. So white can afford to lose the corner. So that was this variation. And then black had the opportunity. So the peep there, that was really bad. Where did he play a peep? He played a peep here. And like that was, that could have been the losing move if black had punished it by playing this one. Okay. So that's what I have to say about this game.
All right.
Let's move on. Let's move on to Xiao Wu versus. No, let's do Jeremy Donley and Zhang.
Oh, good. Jeremy's watching.
Edward
Jeremy's
Zhang.
watching. He's going to be very interested. Jeremy, text me any questions. All right. What's the game number?
Okay, it's the same kind of thing. Only I think the final numbers are 522.
That figured. 522. 522.
And black won this game, so this was an upset, I think. I mean, as far as the game itself was concerned.
Sorry.
And you do have to, okay, thank you.
Yep.
So now I have an empty board. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay, I'll get started then. Okay, black has an unusual strategy here of 5-4 points. Okay, so this is a kind of a standard joseki where, well, usually white starts with this move. But this is a joseki we've had for hundreds of years. And modern players like to play the 3-3 point invasion for white. So this is standard. And they played the standard joseki, so that's okay. And white's looking at that ladder. It's probably not a very good move, but I don't know how bad it is either. So I'm going to give white that one. And black played here. So this is where I start having an issue with black's play. So let's just look at what happened. So black built that wall without finishing the shimari first. So black needs an enclosure in the lower left corner in order to make this wall meaningful. So it's a kind of an empty moyo. There's when white erases it like this, it's just a complete disaster for black. So this was already bad. So I would suggest that if you're going to play a local move, maybe I would think of playing something like this. This is not so satisfying because it's sort of over-concentrated with this stone. So like you'd like to take one of those stones off, sort of. So it's maybe a few too many stones in the same place. And it would be like it would be a normal move to play a shimari. If black's strategy is just to avoid playing that shimari, black could play somewhere on the side, and that would still be a reasonably good move. Black could play a double kakari. It's sort of, I would sort of doubt that because black really it's not clear where black wants to build in this game because the right side is open underneath and also the top side is under.
Well, let me ask you, actually, Edward's watching too, so I'm glad we have both players watching. I have been playing a lot of these high ones, not as planned out as Edward, obviously. Edward came in with a plan, but when you have these kind of high stones, what's the concept here? What are we? I mean, so your question about
ultimately, I think black wants to control the center,
right?
So, like, if you want to keep the game's story relatively simple, you don't even play the normal double kakari. You could play something like this. This.
Oh, I like that.
So linking up your areas in the center of the board is a strategy that it keeps the concept of the takamoku, the 5-4 points, which is towards the center.
And for white, is it I mean, if black is offering a big corner like that, is it a good strategy for white to go ahead and take the cash in a corner?
Take the cash and just dive in. You have to be very brave when you invade the moyo. So like, there's nothing wrong with the way white's being playing so far. And so, in fact, actually, this is a kind of a great example of white's. So this is just black's going wrong here because black is suddenly playing low. He's playing from underneath white.
Right. I get it.
And you would at least wish that black could have made some territory out of it, but he's giving the big opening point to white, and all of those black stones on the right are useless. So it's a good example of the wrong direction of play. So yeah, doing nothing would be better. So like, if you're in doubt, you could just drop a stone in the middle of the board. It would be better than that. those moves are pretty surprisingly challenging when your opponent does something like that. But like I would say this would be a kind of a conceptual move that keeps the center idea. Or you could play the Sumari. The Sumari would be sort of generally good.
Yeah,
And it would
I've
just
been
be
eyeing D3. D3 has a nice feel to it.
well, it's a very normal move, which might not be what Black was trying to do with this game.
Got it.
So that's why Black maybe would not play it.
Sure.
But it would definitely be a good move, as it is. So yeah, but if Black wants to keep the game exciting and focused on the center, then I would do something like this.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so this is completely it just ruins the pictures, like you dropped a bottle of paint on the board. And White gets this one. So this is perfect for White. And so White barely had enough room to live. If White was worried, White did have other options. So like White could, at some point, White could have played the Kosumi here, and it would have been more like this. It's kind of a cop-out, but as it turned out, White had enough room to live. So there's no problem with this. Okay, so Black's trying to kill it. But Black, yeah. White has 7 stones in a row. And if Black tries to kill it, there's going to be issues with moves like this, or even this one. So Black's going to collapse in this variation.
When I saw this game earlier, Michael, I couldn't figure out what to think of it, right? I mean, White is on the second line, White lives, but Black gets this beautiful outside thickness, but White has already plopped a couple of stones in there. So I can't.
So about the outside thickness, yeah. So let's see. If White plays here, this is a forcing move. Black's going to connect the dame points.
Right. Yes, right.
I'd call that more like, yeah, it's not thickness. So like Black has to answer here, White gets another forcing move. So White has the stones facing the center. Black's just connecting dame points.
Wow. Okay.
This is really bad for Black. And in fact, the thing is that he played all of these moves from the inside, giving White outside moves. In order to try to make this territory, which didn't turn into a territory. So that's what makes all these stones on the second line, this invasion that White played on the bottom side, that's what makes it so successful. Because he's making all of Black's stones wasted.
Got it.
They're not functioning. So this was perfect for White. I don't know about covering on the second line here, but it was good that he sacrificed it. So up to this point, White's doing really well. Yeah, and this is slightly bad. This is amusing, actually, because White was greedy there, and he lost territory by being greedy, because Black can play here, and at any point in the game, Black can play this squeeze and save those stones with Sente. And then later on, Black can play here, and if White try and can save them and can get some extra endgame in the corner, sometimes with Sente. So White actually lost territory by being greedy. It happens a lot. But White should have just captured the 3 stones. And then Black would only get 1 Atari. So not even this one. So maybe 1 Atari here, and then White would have a choice of capturing everything or taking here as, arguably this is better. It sort of depends.
So really,
but Black would not get anything, and White would still have that cut here. White would have more potential towards the center and more territory in the corner.
It's like a 30 some point corner plus outside, right?
Yeah. So in the game, Black didn't do that yet. But still, overall, the game is good for White. White's getting all the territory. Black only has that area on the left. Okay, so White dives in. Up to this point, it's okay. So this is where White starts to go wrong. I believe Black won this game.
Yes.
So White doesn't have to bother with the right side. So you want to just go back to basics and deal with the weak group. So you want to make that into a strong group. And then, you don't have to dive in from this third line. There's plenty of space to go in here later if you want to. But the thing is, White doesn't have to invade that territory. White can just do stuff like this. White has plenty of territory. And actually, it's significantly big to do something towards the left side to reduce that territory. So a move like this or a move like this would be fairly big. Like this would get black down to the first line, connecting on the first line and stuff like this. So stuff like this it's every move that white plays that reinforces white's group and reduces black's area on the left side. It's also making a threat against black. So black has to be playing defensive moves like this. And white can afford to give black the right side. Like you don't have to take everything. White has a big
wait, you guys listening? You guys hearing? Pay attention.
So up to this point, it was so like the mistake I pointed out here, it's a very minor mistake. Like it would have been, if white had played here, this would have been a perfect game for white up to this point. I would have been happy to play a game like this. So here's where it starts getting bad. Oh yeah, black did do that, yeah. Okay, you have to deal with the weak group. And like, so white, like I was saying, white always has, if you want to mix it up, you can jump in now. And it's a lot safer than what white did in the game. But it's probably not necessary.
And just a note, I mean, white doesn't have to save all of those stones on the left. White just needs to reduce that area, right?
But white jumped in here, so white doesn't
have to
save
I'm talking about the left side, the left side.
The left side is, well, but it'd be nice to save them. But white wants to start by reinforcing the connection out.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so it's getting a bit more complicated here. And black, I can understand black trying to create some issues for white. So yeah, and white's still doing some weird stuff here. White only has one eye in the center. So white has an eye there. White can make an eye there. But white has the eye that he's going to kill black. And that's the problem here. Okay, so this is a slight overplay on white's part. And this, so after this, white's losing now. So white's probably going to lose the race to capture one side or the other. So it sort of happened suddenly. So everything that white was doing here, trying to kill black, it was all unreasonable. So like even if white had played something maybe a bit more like this, it's sort of hard to say exactly where this turned into a loss for white, because all white has to do is live in the center and white's still going to be winning. So it's really difficult to get into a variation where black has actually won the game. But
needs help from white, right?
But it's the more we proceed into the game, the closer it gets. And so like in a game like this where you have to fill up the center and play very accurately, like in the way white reduces the left side and stuff like that, there's a lot of really complicated issues as the game proceeds. So for humans, I'd say that I would already feel a bit uneasy when it's sort of turning sour like this, even though white still has the lead. So I'd go back to the original point where white had it really easy. White could just keep to a basic story at this point if white had played here. All white had to do was make that group in the center strong, and white could continue by connecting up to the left or invading the right. And whatever white does, it's a winning variation.
Got it.
But now the winning variations are getting more sparse, and white's still okay. So I found a final variation where white's going to be still okay, or at this point. So white had to play here, and the value of this one is that it's going to solve white's problem in the center. So if black plays here, white can capture the cutting stones. White might even do better to play here. This captures the cutting stones also. So this would give white a strong group, and it would make a difference in this direction, because now white doesn't have to worry about the cut here, the cut at this point, because white's captured those 3 black stones. It means it's going to be easier for white to reduce black's territory on the left. And this group on the right, sorry, I'm using the wrong tool. This group on the right is going to die. But
the white stuff, the white stones.
The white stuff is going to die. Black probably extends here. But now white has some potential profit. Black's stones in the center, their connection is a bit weak. And so white has some potential profit here and towards the top side. So white's getting some extra there, and white can afford to lose those stones on the right. Maybe there'll even be a semi-eye there. So white still has a playable game, at least, and probably a small lead. So after this, it's finished. Suddenly, everything is dead. Yeah, so I think white is just losing the semi-eye here. Yeah, I didn't really research the end game, but on the right there, black has 4 liberties. So if white plays here, black still has 4 liberties and white has only 3. So he lost the semi-eye on the right side. And everything died.
Everything died.
I don't really know if white had a chance to maybe live in the center or something, but once he went on that course, he was in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, finally, we'll go to the final game.
One more. Uno más. Which is
okay, let's see.
Number, which?
Oh, just let me take a break, and I'll be right back.
Absolutely. You want to tell me the game number, and I'll set it up. Is it 23?
Let's see.
Probably 23, right?
Ending with 516.
516. Got it. Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Hello again, Chris.
Whew. All right.
Okay, I'm back.
82. That was
just
ready
to start the final game.
The final game.
Final game of the second round, that is. Yeah. Okay. So do you see 5 stones on the board?
I do.
Good. Okay. So this is an unusual way for black to play. But the idea is to control the center. It's a kind of a Go-Seigen-like opening when black plays the 2-space Kakari there. So that's okay. And so black is giving white the top side, building Moyo here. Okay, so like if black wanted to fight strongly, black could have jumped out. But like this is the game move is Joseki, so that's okay. Okay, so this is a Joseki, a modern Joseki that you see a lot. The idea is that if white plays here, black's going to be able to capture in the corner. So black has this option of capturing in the corner, taking the corner territory. But if white just extends here, black can't do that. So in this case, black would lose this stone. It would be bad. So yeah. So that's how this strange looking move works. And so even after black plays here and white covers, or let's say black had connected and white had covered here, black would still not be able to capture this stone.
I've actually, I've gotten confused by this, and I've done that, and then you realize, oh, this is not what I thought it was.
Right. So it's the modern Joseki, and black only gets to play the Atari from underneath. And the value of this is that white has this forcing move. So So white needed that move stone anyway. And so there's no wasted moves in white's shape. And it's a modern Joseki. It gets a better score sometimes with the computer. Okay, so white pincers black's group on the top. And yeah, so this is where I'm starting to have some issues with black's stones. So if we look at this entire thing here, it looks like black has played a lot of down midpoints. I don't see what black has accomplished.
Black didn't really get much on that upper side, right?
I don't know about the score, but at the very least, I would not be happy playing these moves as black, any of these moves. So going back to this point, it's a challenging position. The way black has started the game, even disregarding the fact that black went low in the lower right corner, black still wants to try to control the center of the board because all the rest of black's stones are sort of pointing towards the center. And the life or death of these three stones here, it's not a big issue. So black doesn't want to be surrounded and killed, but like having one or two of those stones cut off in the process of building a wall in the center of the board, that would be a good. So it's that execution is not easy. But so like I would be thinking of, for instance, moves like this, where I would be reducing white's potential area here, keeping white low. And when I think of this move, I have to worry about a counterattack with something like this or something like this. And I have to think about that. So if I'm worried about that, I would back up a little bit. So this is a move where I think this is a safe move. So if white plays here and here, black's going to curl around. So the longer this goes, the more important the center becomes. So like even if white does something like this, the profit that black is getting towards the center, the potential thickness, is probably more important. So it's something like this. Black can actually probably save this now. So it's not really working for white. Or if white cuts here, black can cover and get a double honey. So in this case, black would be thinking of sacrificing that stone in the center. Looks like the latter actually favors black. So even if black adds a stone, this way black would be getting a local life and gaining a lot of territory, and white would have trouble finishing off that stone in the center. So black could start doing stuff like this, and it would be really annoying for white to have to play a lot of moves to capture that stone. And black is getting a lot of territory out of this. So this would be an example of it working in that way. Otherwise, black could even fight in the center too. So
I was just wondering about that move, yeah.
So the honey here is a very effective move. So that's why this is good for black. Otherwise, if white goes down here, I think black can kill this. Yeah, I think black can kill this. So obviously white doesn't want to die. So I'd say this would be a relatively safe move where black would be heading in this direction, giving white a small area, and eventually trying to control this area. Whether it becomes territory or not, if black can use this group in the top right in this fashion, this is going to be a relatively good variation for black. So this is a bit too tight. He's trying to save everything. And then this is from the wrong direction. I really don't like that. I'd be like the normal Joseki-like move would be this. If black wants to do something a bit more fancy, black could do something like this.
Yeah, just a follow-up question. The N16 move, which I actually kind of like. What I think I hear you saying is that if you're going to play a move like that, you can't. It's not the same. the N16, the sort of, the
Oh, you mean the move here?
yeah. That if
Well,
you
at the time Black played it, Black was also trying to dominate the top side.
right,
So at this point, it's the center and the top side.
right,
But when White played this Joseki, the top side, it's gone. So now Black is just going to use that stone towards the center.
right. So a move like 013 just is not consistent with it's just too
It's
tight
just way
now.
too tight. It's not doing anything.
Got it. Okay.
So at this point, any of these stones can die. So like you want to, it's okay if you sacrifice one or two of these stones.
Right.
It's
right,
just
right.
you don't want the whole group to be surrounded.
Got it.
So yeah, this is way too tight. I'd already be very unhappy with Black after playing that exchange. White's the shape of White's area here is so
Big
nice.
framework.
Yeah. By the way, another move that I would expect to see with an AI, I didn't check it this time, is this one. And the thing is, you don't know if White's going to answer this. So if it would be a good exchange, maybe if White plays here, but maybe White's going to play something on this side. I just don't know how it's going to turn out, and how it's like Black would then try to use it from this side maybe, and it gets really, really complicated, and it would be difficult for me to handle. So if you want to do it, then it's, I know it's something that you would probably see with AIs, but maybe I wouldn't even try. So that's why I'm suggesting this move is my favorite. I'd be just a little bit uneasy with this one because there's some space between the Black group. So like if White can cut Black off with something like this, White has to calculate too, but it could lead to a large scale attack against that Black group in the top left, top right. So that's why I'm suggesting this move.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, back to the game. Let's see. So yeah. So this is all wrong. Looks really bad. Okay, there's one more point that was interesting. Okay. So yeah, this is a wild fight. So Black plays here. Now the group in the top right is probably going to be okay. So Black has to do something active about the left side and the center. So that's what Black is doing here. And White's countering by taking some space here, making an attack against Black's group in the center. And Black counterattacks also. So this is an interesting fight. So White can afford to give Black that territory as long as White has an attacking position in the center of the board. So I would say in the human context, this is undecided. It's not as if Black is losing yet. And Black peeps here. White plays here. So White's hoping to get some forcing move here so that White doesn't have to save those stones that way. So White has an extra safety there. And Black cut. So Black cuts here, and White played here. So this is a key point in the game where it's a very subtle and complicated position. So in the game where Black played here, and this is the game variation. And White has taken away the corner piece of this corner territory, and it's still difficult for Black to try to kill this White group. So if Black tries to kill the White group with something like this, for instance, White could play here. So White always has this move, which is going to capture this guy. Or cut Black off here. And it turns out Black doesn't have very many liberties there on the lower side. So Black's going to lose the semi. Or if Black plays here, White can play here and capture. So it's really difficult for Black to kill this White group on the bottom side. And it would be a wasted stone there. So the result here is that Black's group is not really improving. Black's group on the bottom side, this group here, it hasn't settled itself yet. And this stone that Black played, cutting, and Black didn't play that move there. So let's see. So say it's like this. So this group here, it's not a very happy group. And the cut here is potentially a wasted stone. So we're going to go back. and black should play here. So when black plays here, black is making a direct threat against white's group, and white has to use this move immediately to save the group. So white can actually save the group with this stone. And if black plays here, white can pull back and capture the stone. So black will play here. In this variation, black gets the ponuki. So that's a pretty good shape. And then black could play here. And black would be preparing to, this would be a very effective move, which would pretty much link up the two black groups, and it would make the territory on the left side, basically, if black gets to cut at g2. So cutting at g2 would be a very big move. Maybe white's going to answer that, after which black would play here. And in this variation, black's probably okay, because black got the ponuki here, means that black has some potential ice space. So if at some point black plays a move like this or a move like this, there's another potential eye there at k10, k4 that is. And the mark point here, that's also, it's not an eye yet, but it's a potential eye. So black has some potential eye space, and for the time being, black is attacking this white group. So this would have been an even fight. So just to recap, black had to cover here. And white would immediately have to do something, which is this move, and save. And so black would be getting a good shape there. And then black would be able to come back and save the corner. So this would be an undecided variation. So although black messed up on the top side, black did hang in there. And this fight on the bottom side is going to be the decisive fight. So the game was undecided. But in the game, let's go back to the game variation here. So in the game, black managed to kill the white, well, cut white off anyway, but perfectly timed attachment here. White's starting to encroach on the corner. So the big difference here is the value of this area is deteriorating as the fight continues, and black's still not strong on this side. So black continued. Where did black play? I think this is the game variation. Yeah, so white lived in, and now black's group in the lower right is starting to look a bit unhappy, and white's getting that territory in the lower left. So this is starting to look dangerous for black. I think this is this territory, which was looking close to 20 points for black, is more than 10 points. So it's a 35-point difference, plus the fact that black's area on the left side is weaker too. So that was pretty decisive. And this is what we see happening on the bottom side. Here, if black connects, white can play here. And this is the bent 4 in the corner, so it's a dead shape. So I wonder if everyone knows this one. So later on, white can... So it's like this. Basically, it looks like a seki, but at any point, white can start a ko like this. And because white can start the ko, but black cannot, in Japanese rules, this is dead. So it depends on what country you're playing. But in actual practice, like, for instance, in the Chinese rules, they can fill all the ko threats up without losing any territory. So in the Chinese rules, white would just get rid of the ko threats and then kill it anyway. So in practice, whatever rule set you're using, this is going to die ultimately, because white can start the ko whenever he wants. So that's why black had to answer this move like he did. So he played here. And black did manage to live, but you can see how painful it is losing that territory in the corner. And so white just, I think white just ran away with it. And what was the ultimate result?
Good question. Let's see, this is... check.
Looks like white has a fairly sizable lead. I think it was a big win for white. So this is the final position. I think white was winning by some huge margin. Maybe
yeah, I'm just trying to see. No, I know that Mr. Zhu won. I just don't remember whether it was by resignation or not.
The game comments, someone says, is ship shape one of the administrators?
That's Todd.
He says white wins by 25.5.
Right. Yep. That's Todd using a score estimator.
Okay, great. Yeah. So it was all, I think the biggest issue that I have is the positional choice that black made here.
Yep.
So the way black dealt with these stones, black wants to try to control the center. So so just to recap that, this kind of move would be a bit more loose and dangerous. So maybe black would be thinking of sacrificing some stones and continuing with making influence in it. So this would be a way to play, and black would be sacrificing on a small scale on the right side.
So the
move
thing
I like is this one, which is saving everything and trying to control the center anyway.
The thing that I've heard you talking about tonight, and correct me if I'm wrong, or expand on it if you want, is and I've heard you talk about this before, that when you're playing, you have an idea, you've got a story, a thing that you want to do, story that you're trying to tell, and it's not that you have to stick to that story necessarily. Black wanted to do this controlling of the outside, things change, you have to change, so you have to have some flexibility. But what I hear you having issues with is when somebody has clearly one plan, and then they just sort of change it willy-nilly. Does that sound right?
Well, yeah, it's also like you have to play against the board, and like black is playing a lot of stones towards what looks to me like it's the least attractive part of the board, right, on the top side there, right. And then white takes it away anyway. So like it's what was black doing? And the biggest value that white got out of it was this square shape here, which is already looking really good, but also this area has shrunk from what it was supposed to be. So black's not getting so much on the left side. So if you go into that other variation where black does something like this, white would probably play this way. So something like this. So in this case, you have a pretty huge area, and white would be playing moves like this anyway. And so it's just like you don't want to waste stones on the top side is the basic thing. But also you want to, the one area you want to be afraid of that white's going to expand. You want to keep this area as crushed down as possible. So both of those things.
Right, black stones are working much more nicely together in this variation. So
it did change from the point where black played N16, because white chose a Joseki that took away the value from the top side, and so that sort of set the story at this point. It's a new story where black is going to ignore the top side, and black did for a while, but yeah. If he'd continued this way, it would have been a great game, I'm sure.
Got it. Well, thank you, Michael. What a treat. Really appreciate it. This is wonderful. Good way to get things rolling. Thank you, and thank all of our viewers for hanging with us through the technical issues. Hopefully we have resolved those for the week. We'll be back with Michael. Just a reminder to folks, the stream starts at 9:30 tomorrow morning. That's Eastern Daylight Time. Round 3, 9:30. Round 4, 2:30. We will have very brief recaps right after each round, and then we'll have Michael back tomorrow, probably with a much quicker one, I would imagine.
We were something like an hour late.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. So we should be able to start on time tomorrow, but I'll Michael, I'll follow up with you. I'd like to get you on the other one, but if I can figure out the sound issues, but we may just go with the Zoom since it works. So but anyway, case, I appreciate you bearing with it and giving us part of your day, and we will see you tomorrow.
Right.
All right. Great.
Tomorrow morning for me. All right. Bye.
Take care. All right, folks, signing off. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you all for watching, and thank you all for your patience. Really appreciate it. Exciting games. I'm looking forward to a great week here at the National Go Center, and that's going to do it for today. Take care. See you tomorrow.
Bye.